Welcome, boys and girls. Joe got you on here.
What up?
We gonna be here for another last Ronin, wrapping this thing up here. Yes.
Is it the last of the last Ronin?
Mm-hmm. Truly.
Yeah.
Truly. So, here is the copy. I did not get a variant yet. Probably will, just to complete it. Got one for each one, so might as well. So yeah, anyway, we want to sit down. We promised it. We want to talk about it. This is a series I think is pretty going to be kind of discussed in the future quite a bit, just because I think it's one that'll be kind of divisive.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I guess, do you want to jump into it first, brother?
Yeah.
Like, what your overall thoughts are of this?
I'll do a little plug first. I got my copy from State of Comics. It's a comic book store in Michigan. Was it Canton's or Plymouth?
Plymouth.
It's in Plymouth, Michigan. My apologies. I always confuse those towns together. But if you ever get a chance, Shaf, if you want to throw a logo up there,
Reasons.
Go ahead and give them a peek. And they have a great store, gigantic, lots of collectibles, lots of comics. It's a great store.
Oh yeah.
Beyond that, I think this is a nice conclusion to a series that was very intriguing. It could have gone in many different directions, and I enjoyed the read, though I felt it was short.
Okay, short.
This particular book, not the series.
Oh,
This
okay.
this issue was short.
This issue.
Sorry,
Okay. So, yes, I think it was good. I'm short. I don't know. I thought it was fine. Honestly, it was essentially kind of how I'd hoped they'd do it.
I mean, the ending was nice.
I think I kind of, in our last video, I basically said that how Mikey was going to die was, in fact, how he was going to die. But, it's not I guess it's not going to blow anybody away, too, probably, because it was a little predictable.
It was not as impactful as book 1 and book 2. The deaths and the violence and the storyline was not as deep and is not as impactful as book 1 and 2.
And I think, it will it go down in history? I don't think so, sadly. I believe overall it fell a little short. I started reading the first, I think I got 2.5 in. It's still messy. Reading all the way through chronologically back to back is much better. I'll admit that.
Waiting a couple months at a time in between.
Yeah, because because the jumps back and forth, it does it a lot more either way. But it's all there at least.
Yeah. And remember, in book 3, we essentially hated it because of the heavy time jumping.
Oh, good lord!
Clear destination.
Yeah, well, it's like, especially I think 2 and 3 were really bad. 4, they kind of calmed down with it a little bit.
Yeah.
Were a little easier to follow, I should say.
Yeah.
And then kept it tighter between what they were flashing back and forth with.
Sure.
But I don't know. And then this one there was none. So it was good. I feel like it was just a good comic. I'm not gonna say it's great or anything else like that. It has great powerful moments in it, but it's also kind of a little confusing, and then also a little bit of a letdown in certain aspects.
Yeah, I mean, for this particular book, and I'm not trying to rehash the whole story, so if you haven't read it, we want to skip ahead for a little bit, but, it starts out with Mikey trying to fight his inner demon, just his brothers, because they know what the last task is at hand, and it may be nervous or scared in some extent for Mikey. He needed to get through that.
He wasn't nervous. He was just basically he wanted to go back there.
Right.
But he was just because. Well, I guess actually, yeah, he did kind of debate it a little bit in the beginning, didn't he? Because I think it was Raph that was.
Like, you need to go fight. What are you doing? We all lost our lives for this, and that happened. It also cuts to mini Casey training for the battle, and then April trying to work on a plan to help allow the assault on Saki's palace to happen because the last one they took down Baxter Stockman's security robots and all that jazz.
Well, the mainframe. They took the mainframe down, so it was all the electronics are out. So all the ninjas are out that have been patrolling the city. So it's basically Michelangelo's trying to basically pump himself up to go fight him once and for all. Yeah. He basically makes it in there. And there's a little bit of a brutal cutscene where he's just going through and killing all the human ninjas, slaughtering them because they've become weak.
Yeah, because they relied on they're heavily tech dependent.
Yeah.
Which is very unique because I think in any type of storyline, may it be comic book based, sci-fi movie based, or like a miniseries based, the reliance on technology is always inevitable to be the reason why you're not successful.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of funny. It's just almost like a trope. The reliance on technology leads to your doom.
Oh, absolutely. So I mean, it's cool in that way, and it kind of, pays homage to the Three Dead Turtles before moving on to kind of Casey a little bit and April. Because Casey's trying to figure out where Mikey is, and she probably figures he's going there. So to Hiroku.
Yeah, Saki.
Yeah, Hiroku. So she's trying to get there before everything gets powered back on, and then so you get the huge showdown with Hiroku, and I was wondering what his suit was going to look like.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised. I guess I was like, okay, all right.
I didn't like it.
No?
It felt like Silver Surfer meets Shredder.
I thought it was T-1000 meets Shredder.
Yeah.
Or not, T-1000, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was cool. I thought it was like a neat little, because you would imagine, what would that be something kind of like, because I think they kind of hinted at it with Baxter Stockman, didn't they?
Something to that effect.
I believe. So it was neat that his suit basically was, could change into different kinds of blades and stuff like that. So that was nice.
I think, is the technology and how he manipulated it was interesting.
Yeah.
I think, when I said I felt like this overall book was short, the battle with Saki, is, I don't know, is it 4 pages at most? I don't know.
No, I'd say it's like half the comic.
Yeah. I'll peruse, continue talking.
I mean, I think the showdown's great. I mean, his suit's pretty cool. It's mostly silver metallic and with white, and then his eyes glow red, right? I'm pretty sure.
For Saki?
Yeah, something like that. But
yes.
Basically, because it goes through 4 different buildings, I believe, because they keep on because it's they start. Yeah, that's about the time they start fighting.
So it's 18 pages. I don't know if they actually have page numbers in this comic book. I don't want to decrease whatever.
It's my reader, so.
No. But, I mean, go ahead, sorry.
How many do you think,
this book is?
No.
There's 18 pages of with him and Saki fighting.
Oh, wow. Okay, so there is a lot. It's cool. I think the battle is really good. There is kind of a moment at the end I felt that was a little corny. It was like the epilogue thing when I guess he goes to heaven. Yeah. I was all right, but go ahead.
I think so. Maybe the reason why I felt like it went too quickly was because in fight scenes there's not a lot of dialogue.
Word.
Yeah. It's action cuts, and so it moves so.
Well, that's why you got to take in the artwork.
Well, no, I mean I take in the artwork, but I'm also one who wants to know what happens. So I think the briskness of my movement kind of fell along with the pace of the fight. So that's why I felt a little lacking in my
Sure. So. I mean, I like it, and I think the action scenes were decent enough. And personally, I get kind of tired when there's a lot of dialogue while they're fighting. Mm-hmm. I mean, there still is a decent amount because when they were fighting, there's all the the thoughts of what they're thinking while they're fighting, essentially. And of course, Heroku's got a big mouth, so it's a shit talker while they're fighting. But anyway, I like that Mikey calls him Mama's boy so much. Remember that?
Yeah.
Because he hates his mom, so he keeps on calling him Mama's boy.
And I mean that's really interesting, and it's it's a. I mean, I guess what I'm trying to get to is like, so overall you said it's not going to be something that's going to be super influential, something that has a long staying power. Like, would you recommend it as a read? Would you think it's a passable book?
Yeah, I mean, I think for a Turtle fan, it's definitely a good read. It's neat. I think it's done well for it's a total fan service comic, I'd say.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know. Is it going to be like the next Old Man Logan kind of a thing or whatever? Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say because really, I went back and read Old Man Logan, and it's not really that great.
Yeah.
I thought. It's not bad, but I don't think it's. I think Last Ronin's about the same, honestly. They're just told differently. This one's through a lot of flashbacks. That's just told straight through. There's no flashbacks really.
Sure.
I wish that this kind of maybe did that a little bit more so, where they just kind of told it more so in a straight line, and like the history was told through dialogue, maybe.
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit of flashback through dialogue, where with this one,
just dedicate one
done.
book of this flashback. So like instead of 3 being bouncing back, make 4 all about the flashback in general.
Or even noting when the hell it's taking place, because that was the other thing.
Right.
Whenever it would just say then and later or whatever. Like, it was horrible. Yeah. You remember?
So that's the thing also, is it's like, this fight was good, but, from the violence of book 1 and 2, I don't think it transcended all the way through. The action just wasn't as gripping, but it wasn't horrible. This was just, you're left with something to be more desired.
Yes. 1,000%. I don't know. I mean, I think for me, I just felt like it could have been told better.
Yeah.
Like, there could have been a little more. I think the battle with Shredder Jr. was great.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good. I think the one with Baxter Stockman could have been a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
I think Baxter Stockman should have done like some kind of mech warrior thing or something like that. That would have been kind of cool. Instead, he was just plugged in the entire time.
I know it's a sci-fi trope or whatever, but maybe even like Mikey losing an eye or a hand on the path to getting to the Shredder would have been interesting, or a twist, if you will. And maybe April making him a future toy arm to use or something would have been pretty cool.
Mayhaps. Like a nod towards the Urban Legends one. Yeah, I mean, that would have been decent, I think. I like, or maybe like he gets scarred in some way, like, a face scar.
Because when you every time you see like a knife or a blade or an arrow go into Mikey, you're just like, oh shoot, is that the end? And what's going to happen? Yes, that there's a 5-part miniseries. Yes, you figure inevitably someone's going to die. If not him, he's going to die.
Oh, sure. I mean, I think a lot of people probably figured he was going to die at the end.
But then that's the thing also with this particular book, with the epilogue, if you will. We don't know if this is the end of the Last Ronin, because the Last Ronin means you're like the last whatever. So in terms of the original Ninja Turtles, yeah, it's the end. But there is a panel where it's Casey and she's growing 4 new turtles.
Sure.
And they could be all girls. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Ghostbusters. No, I honestly, like, I don't think they'll do anything with it. I think it was just kind of like a cute, like, hey, like,
It's a cycle.
Yeah. Exactly. So, I mean, it was a cute nod, I think, I don't think they'll do anything with it, but,
Should have started Brown Turtle in this one.
Brown Turtle.
Yeah, because Donnie was brown, hypothetically.
I know they're all different colors.
Yeah. One's darker.
Oh,
yeah. That's a snapping turtle also.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. But anyway, Yeah, I mean it's cool. It's a good finish. Series overall,
It's worth reading and it's good. I mean, I would say the first 2 books were like at a 7 or an 8.
Yeah.
And then everything else was like a 5 or a 6. I think overall it brings it to about a 6.
It was just like
for me.
It didn't hold the emotional pull that it did on the first 2. I think.
I think the 3, when you could have hit that apex, it just landed so flat that you're just like, all right, you're scrambling for pieces in 4, and then you're like, okay, it's 5. What are they going to do?
Well, I think the issue was you by the end of issue 1, you already knew that most of them died.
Yes.
So it's like, or you knew that, most of them died.
Yeah.
So they all died, I guess. You knew all the turtles died, I guess. But
Case in point of the last Ronin.
yeah, true. So, but because I'm trying to remember what I thought back then. But anyway, I suppose at that point, like you hearing how they died, it was a little more tragic in the way that Raphael died, because he basically went down like just to the last breath, literally, fighting cry, and it's like I wish that they could have done something to that level with the others,
right?
Where it was like Heroku like literally snuffing out the last breath of all the rest of the turtles or something like that, or
I would say would be interesting is, so you find out that Casey and Wrath die in that major battle right after the peace was broken, right?
Yeah.
And then you find out Johnny and Master Splinter die because of getting ambushed in Japan, right? What would have been really good is like you said, Shredder Jr. doing the actual final murder scene or whatever for Splinter, and then like having another enemy. Like you don't need to create another character, but like Bebop or Rocksteady, like while Leo wasn't paying attention, like going after him, and then like each person, and that could be like a set of
Baxter Stockman, honestly, they could have done that, where it was like maybe Leonardo's death. Yes, it was Baxter Stockman. It was all of his Mausers, Mauser 2s.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I think it would have been cooler if it was like Baxter Stockman like steadied over Leonardo, like snuffing out the last breath, and like Donatello and Splinter, Heroku leaning over them, when it was like in the comics they were just kind of slain in the background, which totally removed all the.
What would have been a really epic scene though? If it was book 3 and then it was Heroku and he strangled Splinter to death with nunchucks.
But something I mean, brutal. Make us hate him.
And then using the key weapon that Mikey uses to make it even more so.
Sure. I mean, I would think, me personally, just it could be that, but I would think maybe just making it brutal, where it's like maybe he's just literally punching the shit out of Splinter until he friggin' just dies, from blunt force trauma. Something like that.
Even if he had that suit, the T-1000 suit,
just a brutal death.
You know how, Wolverine usually toys with enemies where it's left, right, or on your chin, and then they sink the center one out in to finish them. They could have just did put the right out, and then Splinter's freaked out and like this, and then right through the other one.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking brutal though, because if you make it brutal, then it'll make you hate Heroku. Sure. Whereas if it's a quick death, then it's not really gonna be
true.
You'll just be kind of like, oh, but it's not like oh, you bastard.
So the one thing we've learned is, Eastman, if you have any control, make it more violent.
Yeah, well, it's over now.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, if you make the movie, but
make it uber violent.
No. Yeah, make it uber violent. But yeah, I mean, they went violent when he was fighting the human ninjas.
Sure.
He was just mowing through them, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But short-lived, because you didn't see it because it was the aftermath that you were seeing.
Sure.
But yeah. Anyway, violence.
Mortal Kombat has taught us so much.
I know, 90s kids. I guess that's all I got.
Yeah.
I guess with Heroku, I wanted to say, I felt like they didn't really do him justice. I felt like he was an evil enough villain, but they didn't show him doing evil itself necessarily. He was always kind of the shadow figure.
Felt like he was a business suit.
Yeah, basically. And so it's like I kind of wanted to, like I was saying, like he should have been the cause of like literal a brutal death, and that would have made it a little more satisfying when he died at the end, or making you hate him even more so. So
I mean, for those who are watching the channel and those who like Ninja Turtles or even comic books, it's definitely worth the read. You know, I'm sure they'll make a nice trade that you can buy them all at once, and then just read this wonderful story.
Yeah.
And I mean, would I want another Last Ronin series? Meh. Would I like another offshoot in terms of more adult, violent themed Ninja Turtles? Yeah, totally. I would totally be down for more different series like this.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I mean, we appreciate you watching. Always, as always, like, subscribe, tell your friends, and we'll catch you next time.
Yeah. Later.